Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to Abnormal Voyages. My name is David, and today we find ourselves in Florida at the Walt Disney World Resort. As part of our celebrating the whole year for the Disney 100, we are now at Epcot. It's a little different from Walt's envisioned experimental prototype Community of Tomorrow, but it is still a wonderful park that celebrates all the great things in the world, including giving us a taste of several other countries. There's also a lot of great festivals that happen here at Epcot, and we happen to be here right now during one of them. They are hosting the Flower and Garden Festival, so there are numerous beautiful plants out and awesome topiaries. I can't wait to dive in and see them all. Come tag along.
We're going to a place that you've never heard of before. It's Abnormal Voyages. You're gonna learn something new. We're gonna open new doors. It's Abnormal Voyages.
Epcot officially opened on October 1st, 1982, and was the second park for the Walt Disney World Resort. Though it may be over 40 years old, there is still no other park in the world that's quite like Epcot. Here we have our first big topiary for the Flower and Garden Festival. Looks like it's some members of the Madrigal family from Encanto. Bruno's not here, but we don't really talk about him.
Beginning our exploration of Epcot, there's no better place to start than the massive geodesic sphere that acts as the park's icon. A lot of people call this the golf ball. It even featured in a Barbie movie, but this is actually an attraction. This is called Spaceship Earth. Let's climb aboard.
The entire park is separated into two sections, Future World and World Showcase. For the first part of this video, we begin here in Future World, and in Spaceship Earth, we are taken through the history of communication-based technology. This ride allows you to travel backwards in time and see how things have gotten to where they are now. We have the ancient Egyptians who invented paper and one of the first written forms of communication. Moving on from there, we're able to see that learning to master the seas and really travel around definitely spread communication outwards. The ancient Greeks in particular really put a strong emphasis on education and learning to be everything you could be. This is where we entered the age of philosophy, and people truly began to study what it means to be human. It was around this time that somebody got the clever idea of writing all this education down so that it could be shared and continue to spread out to people. This is where we got the legendary Library of Alexandria, a huge building filled with all the years of wisdom and education. Unfortunately, this did burn down, and at first, it seemed like we had just taken a massive loss as humanity. Luckily, most of the texts that were in the Library of Alexandria were copied and already spread out to other libraries throughout the Middle East and Europe. So, through this quick thinking, a lot of that wisdom was saved. That information was used as a springboard to really inspire people to continue growing themselves, and this led to a time period known as the Renaissance. This was an absolute explosion of culture, art, poetry, music. Man expanded in every way he could think of. Some of our greatest works of art to this day came from the Renaissance period. art was certainly seen as something just as essential as other facets of life. This is a concept that still stays with us to this day. Truly, the only problem with written communication was that it was by hand. And soon the printing press came along and changed everything. With this, news was able to get spread out to everybody fast and quick, making a copy as easy as a snap. Even distance became a non-issue, as things like the telegram quickly connected people from miles and miles away. The telephone soon followed, and besides just voice, pictures began to go from long distances, such as at the movie theaters. You could watch a huge screen and be educated and entertained all at the same time. And the next logical step after that was to bring those screens into your very home. The television was a huge hit, and people became connected like never before. Speaking of people being connected, however, there is one thing that did that better than any device before it, and that was the internet. Computers started out really big, as we can see here in this room, but soon enough, they would continue to evolve and become the devices that we ourselves are so reliant on today. This is a great first ride when you enter Epcot, and it reminds you that we're all here together on Spaceship Earth. Back outside, we find some more beautiful flowers waiting for us in the form of some of our well-loved friends, Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, and Chip and Dale. And though the topiaries are the big, impressive centerpieces, there are plenty of other gorgeous flower displays everywhere you look. So while you're running between rides, make sure to stop a second and take in the beauty.
Here in Future World, they're looking not only at all the greatness on Earth, but also to the future, where space travel is a more common thing. So, Mission Space takes us up into the stars and shows us soon what adventurers might be doing.
Your headquarters for Mission Space is certainly an impressive peek at the future. This is one vision of how living in space will be possible. This space center here spins around, making its own artificial gravity, but still manages to have little touches of home. You also get to see the control panel, where plenty of scientists and researchers are going to be hard at work during your mission.
You're here today to train for the greatest adventure in the history of mankind, space exploration. I know you're probably feeling a little nervous right now, but don't worry. Every astronaut has felt that way at one time or another, even the heroes who went to the moon. But there is one thing they had that you don't have yet: training. You're here today for flight training, the most thrilling experience that any astronaut candidate will ever have. Before you decide if it's right for you, let me introduce you to your spacecraft, the X-2 Space Shuttle. It's powered by solid hydrogen and can accelerate from 0 to 6,000 in 60 seconds. So when you hear the words "go for launch," you'll definitely want to hang on. Now, you've already been organized into teams, and soon each of you will be assigned a position: navigator, pilot, commander, or engineer.
Our hands were too busy to film the actual mission, but trust me, it's certainly worth it.
We did such a good job with our training mission to Mars that they invited us to come check out a brand new exhibit, The Wonders of Xandar. This is a whole new planet. You may have actually seen it. They did some movies, Guardians of the Galaxy, and I am thrilled to get in there and find out about this other planet. Come on.
So, as I mentioned, you may be familiar with Xandar from the Marvel movies Guardians of the Galaxy, especially the first one, where a decent amount of the action takes place on and above the planet. But here at this pavilion, you're able to take a closer look at Xandar and the society that exists upon it. They cover a lot of different aspects of Xandarian life, including their architecture and the way they have their town centers set up. And you get a chance to look at some of the outfits for their Nova Corps, who are the peacekeepers on Xandar. They're a little more advanced than Earth when it comes to traveling the stars, so I really enjoyed getting to see their spaceships up close. Well, at least models of them.
On behalf of all Xandarians, I hope you have enjoyed exploring the wonders of Xandar. As you have seen, your world and ours were born of the same moment, one which you refer to as the Big Bang. As such, we are all galactic neighbors in a vast universe which we and countless others share. For you to travel to Xandar would take 2.5 million years, assuming you had a ship that could fly at the speed of light. So we decided to come to you. But even we could not have reached you so easily were it not for the Cosmic Generator, an advanced piece of Xandarian technology that creates jump points, artificial tunnels that act as shortcuts, linking distant points in space. It is our desire to share this wondrous technology with your people so that together we might explore new worlds and create a brighter tomorrow. And now, as the culmination of the wonders of Xandar, you will be teleported to a Nova ship above your planet for a demonstration of the Cosmic Generator. I trust you will find it an unforgettable experience.
Welcome, people of Epcot, Epcoters, Epcotians, citizens of Epcot. Does anyone know what they call themselves? What? I'm on? Someone needs to tell me when I'm on. Welcome, Epcot Terrans. I am Centurion Tal Merrick, and we're just about ready to teleport you up to the ship for the demonstration. As you're about to enter a secure Nova area, I must ask you to put away your Terran communication devices at this time. Recording of any type is strictly prohibited.
Okay, so technically, this was all confidential, but you know we had to get you a little footage. So we were transported up to their ship, but unfortunately, things took a drastic turn. A giant guy showed up out of nowhere and tried to steal the Cosmic Generator. This was very bad news. With that kind of power, he could undo basically all of reality. A lot of the Nova ships were out of commission, so there really wasn't anything they could do about it. Luckily, the Guardians of the Galaxy happened to be nearby, and after a little quick thinking, they threw together a plan, and they invited us to team up with them and save all of existence. We're just gonna need a little good luck.
Okay, they're headed for the jump point. This plan is never gonna work.
Rocket!
Well,
Okay, I've locked onto your vehicle.
We'll be right behind you.
nothing to worry about.
Unless we cannot stop this unusually large man, then you're likely doomed.
Rex!
Good luck.
It was useless to follow me. What is that noise?
Noise? No one's gonna stop rock and roll from existing.
What have you done?
What have we done?
I think we're jumping back.
Our peaceful educational tour of Xandar looks like it went a little off the rails. But hey, we made it out, we helped everyone, saved the world, and even better, we are now officially honorary guardians. You can't beat that. But for the rest of our Epcot trip, I think we're going to stay right here on Earth. That doesn't mean there's not plenty of thrills left to see.
To be fair, while space is amazing, one thing they certainly don't have is awesome topiaries of Donald and Daisy Duck.
As any driver can tell you, getting behind the wheel of a car and hitting the road can be one of the most thrilling things out there. Don't believe me? Well, let's take a peek inside Test Track and you'll see exactly what I mean.
This experience starts out by showing you prototypes of some upcoming futuristic cars. Then you get to create your own version and take it for an actual test drive. As you make your way through the testing center, your vehicle's going to be put through quite a lot. You've got to check the brakes on it, you've got to check the handling and the sharp turns, you have to make sure that you're still going to be able to control it when it rains outside. There's definitely a lot that goes into making sure your car is road ready. But by far, the most thrilling test you're going to go through, the absolute highlight of this experience, is the road test for speed. Your vehicle truly floors it as you're launched out of the testing center onto the road and reach close to 70 miles per hour, feeling the wind whip through your hair. It's at this point you're really hoping that the car model you made up is safe to be in. While you're racing down the track, you might get a chance to spot this lovely topiary in the distance with Woody, Bo Peep, and her sheep. Don't forget the monkeys in a barrel hanging out in the trees.
Well, that sure was fast. Now we're going to continue exploring awesome things here on Earth in the land.
This pavilion covers something that we are all very familiar with, the actual land itself, where we live and breathe every day of our lives. There's a lot to learn here, and this is home to 2 signature attractions.
Besides providing us with space to live, the land is essential in providing us with nutrients. We're going to climb aboard a boat now, and they're going to teach us all about how some of that delicious food is made.
This is Living with the Land. It's an attraction, but also offers one of the coolest behind-the-scenes peeks that you can get at any theme park. On this boat ride, you'll start by learning about the way different cultures and agriculture go hand in hand to create the food that we eat. But after that, the bulk of the ride is going to let you look inside Disney's actual greenhouses. This is part of their ongoing operations, and even shows some of the fish that are being raised, such as tilapia in this tank over here. On the other side, we see some bass that's being cultivated. As always, you got to keep your eyes peeled for hidden Mickeys that are all throughout the parks. And further down in this aquatic section, you even get a chance to see some freshwater shrimp. Being Disney, it should come as no surprise that they are always searching for the most innovative way to do things. As you float through the greenhouses, you actually get a chance to even see some of this innovation, and maybe even look at what the future of agriculture could hold. Something that I thought was really interesting is the way they were experimenting with utilization of space. In a world that is constantly growing with new buildings, new places always popping up, it's difficult to keep vast quantities of land open for farming and agriculture. Here, they're testing different methods of growing those things, such as watermelon hanging down as opposed to coming up out of the ground, and other similar things. And even though you're floating through just looking at plants, there's still Disney touches on each little piece, such as this Mickey made out of lettuce. Agriculture is literally one of the most important sciences for us to be paying attention to. Not only is it beautiful flowers and things for us to enjoy in nature, but it's our very food and the stuff that we put into our body that fuels us. So it's great to see that they're putting an emphasis on this and showing us the innovative and healthy ways that we can be progressing this amazing field. And if you really want to put the experience together, you can stop by the Garden Grill restaurant right upstairs and eat all the things you just saw.
There's so much to see on this planet. The land is everywhere. So what better way to see it all than from a bird's eye view?
Soon you will be airborne. So if you or your little aviators have a fear of flying or of heights, you might want to wait for your party at the arrival gate. Okay, let's review. That is seatbelt, carry-on item, safety strap, fear of heights, keep your hands and arms inside at all times. Anything else? Yeah. Have a nice flight.
All right, we're going to start with number 3. All the way.
And while we're talking about the land, I can't help but bring up some of my favorite characters that live on the land. Those from The Lion King. Simba and Nala here with Rafiki showing off their newborn cub. And nearby, Timon and his best pal, Pumbaa. But now we're going to leave the land and switch gears a little bit.
Being in Florida, it is a bit cloudy right now. Some rain started falling down. If we're gonna get wet, we might as well do it with some friends. What better time to dive under the waves with Nemo, Marlin, and Dory at the seas.
Now there is a version of this attraction that's very similar, that's at Disneyland in California. That's where you board the submarine and dive under. But this one is a little lengthier and has a few differences, so we wanted to make sure to point that out. Once you enter the seas, you're not quite underwater yet. You actually begin on the nearby beach, so there's plenty of sand and even a lifeguard tower, just in case things get a little rough. And then soon, you're walking under the water. Everything has turned blue, and if you look up, you can even see boats going across over your head. But now it's time to meet some fish.
Oh, science is great, there's so much to know.
Nemo! Where are you, Nemo? He's my son. You know that. We went on a huge adventure together.
Is he orange with white stripes and looks kind of like you, only smaller?
Yes, I can see him.
Is he you?
That's jellyfish! Jellyfish! And the next one, jellyfish!
All right, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Dory, stop playing games!
Games? I love games. Ooh, I'm thinking of something pink and bouncy that looks like a balloon.
Ah, jellyfish!
Swim over and say good day to your old pal Bruce. More sulfur, mate. Fish and bread.
It's Nemo! Look, Mr. Ray, here comes Nemo! He's out too short. Hey, I'm
And after Nemo is safe and sound back with his friends, you can explore the connected sea base and see lots of other fish. This part is certainly different from the submarine ride in Disneyland, as this is a huge area that used to just be the seas. They added Nemo on top of it and made it even cooler than it already was. The tanks here are absolutely massive, and you can see all kinds of sea creatures, such as these stingrays. Something you don't see at most aquariums, dolphins. These playful little guys are swimming around and sometimes even doing tricks. And then, a little different from the dolphins, we have manatees. That's right, there's a whole herd of sea cows here. They may not be quite as active as the dolphins, but they're still very cute and very entertaining to watch as they lazily glide through the water. There's also one opportunity here that I think is very cool. You can sign up and actually go scuba diving in the tanks. This puts you right there in the same environment with the fish, and really there's no way to get closer.
fish, sharks, dolphins. There are plenty of majestic creatures all throughout the sea. And with some amazing new technology here at the base, we actually can get up and close to talk to one of them. Let's check it out.
This device we see right here is called a hydrophone. It lets us hear sounds from beneath the ocean. Today it's going to let us talk to our special guests.
Whoa, check out all the human dudes in the human tank. Hello, human dudes.
What's up?
Awesome. Michael, check this little dude. She's like center aisle style. You got back corner red shell with like a little white design right on the front. She looks cool. What's your name?
Charlie, Lydia.
Lydia, do you know how to talk like a turtle?
No.
Lydia, no worries, dude. Try this out. Say, totally.
Totally.
Ooh, I like it, Lydia! All right, dude. Let's try another one. Say, sweet.
Sweet.
Lydia, put them together. Say, totally sweet, dude.
Totally sweet, dude.
I like a turtle, Lydia, dude. So, who brought you here on this fine day?
My mom and dad.
Chilling with the rentals. Cool. Well, Lydia's parental units raised their feds. Where are your parents at? They're not claiming you, dude. Oh, there's Mamacita. Mamacita! Dude, what's your name?
Katie.
Katie. How many offspring do you dudes have? Kids, Katie, how many? Katie's husband was like, dude, my wife Shelly and I, 65, Katie! You know how it is, man. Well, you know, the kids are always asking us questions. We're always like, dropping the knowledge, and before you know it, Katie, it's like, cuckoo-ca-choo, right? They take all that knowledge and they swim on off to the big old blue, and then we're so proud of them. I feel like we're sharing a parental moment, dude! Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I know my kids are actually really interested in you humans. Even Squirt, he's like, Dad, what do humans do when they're at the beach? And I was like, I do not know. So, who goes to the beach? Raise your fin. If you go see Lydia goes, Katie doesn't, that's weird. Somebody who goes to the beach. Also with a red shell, Michael. This is the other side, kind of across from Katie. There's like a little red shell too. Dude, what's your name?
Charlie.
Charlie, what do you do when you go to the beach?
Build a sandcastle.
No way. Charlie, I feel like I've actually seen some sandcastles when I've been up there surfing. Dude, how do you make those?
I don't know.
Charlie, you're on the beach, okay? Charlie, there's all of this sand, and you're like, right? So then you're like, I think I want to make a sandcastle. Charlie, you got the sand, you're there. What's the first step? I wish you just could see Charlie's thinking face. He's like, I want to see you do this sometime, Charlie. All right, well, thank you, dude. We answered Squirt's question. Now, if any of you dudes have a question for the Crushman, well, raise your fin, and I will try to. Well, Lydia's got something. Lydia, what is it, dude?
How old are you?
Dude, the Crushman, 150 years young, Lydia. Yeah. How old are you?
7.
Ooh, almost double digits. Dude, one day, you're gonna hit the triple digits. And that's when life is really gonna pick up with you.
So this is a very special topiary. This is Figment the Dragon. He is a figment of your imagination and is actually the mascot of Epcot. You won't find him at any other Disney property, but here he thrives and tons of people love him. Let's go with him now and journey into imagination.
As you enter the Imagination Institute, you may see a few familiar faces on the wall, such as Wayne Szalinski from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, or even this absent-minded professor from Flubber. But the tour's about to begin, so we've got to hurry along.
Welcome to our special drive-through open house. I'm Dr. Michael Channing, Chairman of the Imagination Institute. Hello. On your tour, you'll see how the 5 human senses can help capture your imagination.
Oh, can I go too?
Absolutely not. This is one of our discoveries, the figment of imagination.
Yeah, I know all about the senses. There's sight, sound, smell, touch, coochie-coochie-coo, and taste. Taste my chicken. Can I go? Please, please, please.
No, I don't want you out of my sight.
Out of sight? Okay. Come on, everybody. Here we go.
Figment, you are not to interfere with the tour. What? This is odd. Hello?
Hello.
Who is this?
It's Figment.
Figment? I thought I told you not to interfere.
But you've got it wrong, Doc. It's not about listening with your ears. It's about listening with your imagination.
Now I've completely lost my train of thought.
No, you haven't. It's over here. All aboard. Woo-hoo!
Continuing now, if I may, in a calm, scientific, figment-free manner. The things we see with our eyes can control the eyes of the imagination. Let's begin by using the eye chart to test your vision. Now, all together, if you would please read line 3 and hit.
F-I-G-M-E-N-T. You can see things differently. Sure, you can see with your eyes, but imagine what you could see if you used your imagination.
Our research shows that smells often trigger the imagination, especially when pleasant, familiar smells come into play.
Come into play? I'd love to.
Figment, this is not a good time.
It's always a good time to use your imagination, so let the good times roll. Woo! You win 1 cent.
Figment, don't! You know, I'm sorry, but after that big stink in the smell lab, I hesitate to send you to the touch and taste labs. Perhaps I should end my open house right here.
Great idea. We'll go to my open house instead. It's much more fun. Right this way, everybody.
Figment, what is going on? You're turning this entire open house upside down.
Upside down? Now you're talking. That's the best idea you've had all day.
Now, from just this little bit of the ride, you may be a little confused of why Figment has such a huge following. This ride is still cute, but hardly something for people to rave about. Well, Journey into Imagination has had quite a few changes throughout the years, and the original ride is the one that really got its rabid fan base. In that ride, you were introduced to Dreamfinder, and he was the one who created Figment. Together, they showed you all about the power of imagination. Unfortunately, Dreamfinder's not part of this ride right now, but there are rumors that someday, a ride closer to the original will make a grand comeback. But until then, we're happy to still have Figment here in the parks and represented very, very colorfully. After the big grand finale of your tour, you can look around and see some more artifacts, and you even get the chance to meet a few Disney characters.
Would it be okay if I get your autograph today? Yeah? Alright, I'll give you this and let me grab you a pen. I'll undo it for you there. Thank you so much. You're definitely my favorite emotion, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. There you go, full of joy. Have a great day. Before we head into World Showcase, it seemed appropriate to stop here at Club Cool, where you actually get to try different Coca-Cola products from all over the world. So, for example, We have the Country Club here from the Dominican Republic. Let's see what that tastes like. Very interesting. Kind of tastes like melted ice cream. Let's try another one. We'll try this Russian Sprite. Looks kind of like the same. Oh, but it's Sprite cucumber, it says, so. Definitely cucumber. It just cucumber with carbonated water. And then last, this is the famous one here that everybody says is crazy. Beverly from Italy. Supposed to be pretty bitter. Bottoms up. Oh yeah. That can stay in Italy. You know, call me old-fashioned, but my choice is always going to be the classic American Coke. Let's go see the rest of the world.
And who better to see us off for the start of our adventure than Goofy?
We begin our journey through the World Showcase here in Mexico, and I think we're just in time for the fiesta.
Now, as I mentioned before, Epcot is split into two separate parts. You have Future World, which we just explored, and then World Showcase. It's about 1.25 miles of 11 different countries. You get to visit all of them and get a little taste of what that country's like. The Mexico Pavilion here was one of the original 9 countries represented and opened with Epcot in 1982. Inside this amazing pyramid, you can find little cultural aspects of Mexico. A little museum at the front teaches you about the Day of the Dead currently. And then, to really dive in, there's even a ride.
Who better to teach us about Mexico than the Three Caballeros, starring our favorite Donald Duck? They're about to perform now. Let's see if we can catch them.
Excuse me, have you seen a duck? Hey, hey, hey! Wrong duck! Goodbye! Excuse me,
And all three stellar performers definitely deserve their own topiary. As we head up north from Mexico, we find ourselves in North America, represented here by Bambi and some of his friends that are locals to this area.
Well, we followed these topiaries of Canadian geese, and they've led us to, where else but Canada.
Ah yes, the Great White North. As you'll see in all the countries represented here, they go above and beyond to represent what it's like to truly be there. Even all the plants are native fauna to that country. My favorite thing in this pavilion, and something that is sure to be a showstopper, are these massive storytelling totems. Not only do they look really cool, but each one tells a different story from Canadian folklore. If you see a cast member nearby, make sure you ask them to help explain the story. It's definitely worth hearing. And then, to celebrate your vacation to Canada, you can check out the store and pick up some local goodies. You got that maple flag pretty much printed on everything.
Well, it's not quite the TARDIS, but this phone booth does its job, and it's transported us to the United Kingdom.
The UK is responsible for plenty of beloved characters, such as Peter Pan and his nemesis, Captain Hook. Definitely an all-time favorite Disney movie. Even the crocodile is here, just waiting for his chance to gobble up that pirate. And then everybody's favorite fairy, Tinkerbell. If you ask really nicely, she just might dust you with some pixie dust. Another favorite that hails from England, Winnie the Pooh, and all his friends from the 100-Acre Woods. You've got Rabbit, proudly showing off all the things that he's grown in his garden, and right next to him, we have Eeyore, Piglet, and Tigger too. Now you can't have the UK without having a stellar pub. Rose and Crown definitely fills that position. But you can also stop by and get some fish and chips from a nearby shop. Or, if you're feeling up to it, you can step into here and get some delicious tea, which the UK is very famous for. And you can pick up a teapot that's reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland. Here you can actually select all different flavors and take home a whole chest of whatever you'd like. The architecture is amazing. It really makes you feel like you're there, in London. Once you go into the shops, some of them are celebrating the old medieval ages, the Arthurian period, if you will, but other ones choose to focus on more modern-day England. This is where you're going to find stuff like Doctor Who and the Beatles. And honestly, who can beat a winning combination like that?
Next up, we're now in France. This is, of course, home to one of my personal favorite Disney princesses, Belle from Beauty and the Beast. But we're not here for that today. Instead, we just managed to get a reservation at one of the hottest new restaurants in town, headed up by Chef Remy.
If you've seen the movie Ratatouille, then you're already familiar with Chef Remy. Here, you get to shrink down to the size of a rat and enter his kitchen to have a gourmet feast cooked up by the rat himself.
Chef Remy is waiting for you. This way. Qu'attendez-vous? Les invités pour le dîner.
Yes, what do you here? Pour le repas idéal, coq au vin? Non. A simple omelet? Too simple.
Voilà.
puis oui, that's it!
Well, that was definitely a one-of-a-kind dining experience. And look, Miss Piggy and Kermit were also in town for that delicious meal. And nearby, we have our friends Cogsworth and Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. And you know what? I think we do have a minute to meet up with Belle.
Hello, Belle. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. You've always been my favorite Disney princess. Don't tell the others, but...
Oh, I thank you very much. You are too kind.
Well, we're actually going around. We're just trying to get advice for adventures, and I figured you're a great person to ask.
Oh, well, yes. I'm always looking for adventures in the graveyard somewhere.
So what would you say is your #1 adventure advice?
Oh, my. Be spontaneous.
Okay.
Just this morning, Papa and I went into the village to get some baguettes for breakfast, but...
Oh, delicious.
We left with chocolate croissants instead. That was Papa's decision. They're his favorite.
That was a good spontaneous decision. I like
yes,
that.
They were quite delicious. He was very delighted.
Well, thank you so much. And could I get your autograph?
Oh, of course. I would love to be part of a storybook.
There you go. I'll open that for you.
And have you been reading any good storybooks lately?
Oh, all the time. If I'm not out having adventures, I'm there in a book having adventures of another kind, you know?
Oh, how wonderful.
I had to stop and get in the shade. It's getting pretty hot out there. And that can mean only one thing. We must be in Morocco.
Now, there may not be any flashy rides or anything here in Morocco, but it is one of the most beautiful pavilions. This architecture is spot on and truly makes you feel like you're wandering through a city much older than Epcot. Sometimes you're lucky enough to run into Aladdin and Jasmine here in Morocco, but it looks like they were probably off on their magic carpet somewhere else the day that we were in town. Regardless, though, Morocco is one of those hidden gems of Epcot, and you certainly don't want to miss it. So when you're passing through, make sure you take a little time to visit this wonderful place.
We're being welcomed in Japan with a traditional drum performance. Let's listen in.
Now, I have to admit, Japan just might be my favorite pavilion here at Epcot. The bonsai garden is beautiful to look at, very peaceful, but everywhere you look are little signs of Japan. This gate is definitely very Japanese-inspired, and you can even see Spaceship Earth back there in the distance. However, what people really love about Japan is the store. This one is amazing. It's huge, massive, and seems to have a little bit of everything inside. Even some plushies from our friends over at Nintendo. You can pick up a traditional Japanese fan to help beat the heat outside, or really go the whole 9 yards and pick up some kimonos for the entire family. They like to add a little excitement to your shopping experience. So, there's even an interactive area where you can pick a pearl out of an oyster.
Let's practice together. We say sun, ni, ichi. Yes, we say sun, ni, ichi. That's how we count that. Are you ready? Let's learn it open it together. Let's go. Sun, ni, ichi. Where is your pearl? Where is your pearl? I found your variety. Your gorgeous pearl is right.
After you've done all the shopping you can handle, you can wander over to an exhibit about kawaii, which shows you just how adorable and cute so many things in Japan are. This is also where you'll find one of my good friends, Pikachu. But even with all that cuteness, my favorite was seeing all these origami versions of famous Disney characters. Everybody was here. I really liked the Slinky Dog there and how long he was, but this was awesome. I would buy these if they were for sale.
World traveling can sure be tiring, so don't be afraid to take a break. If you get a chance, I highly suggest where we are now, Italy.
Italy is another fantastic pavilion where the architecture is truly the treasure. Take enough pictures here and nobody will ever believe that you were just in Florida. Of course, one of the major things that come from Italy that we all love is Italian food. Now, it may not be straight from Italy, but it's probably the closest you're gonna get, at least in this state. So I highly recommend stopping by here if you're not sure where to have dinner. And you can't talk about Italy without mentioning those world-famous canals. They do have a small section of them recreated here. You just can't quite climb into the boats and go around. But man, that would be a pretty cool ride. Italy is just a very romantic country. Take it from these two, the lady and the tramp. If they think it's romantic, it definitely gets 5 stars.
Snow White is a classic fairy tale that comes from the land of Germany. And if you're interested in a beer, bratwurst, or pretzel, we've found the right land for you.
Germany is another pavilion that fights to be one of my favorites. There's just so much character squeezed into this small square. Now, originally, there was going to be a boat ride here as well, which was going to be the Rhine River Cruise. Unfortunately, that never came to fruition, but who knows? Maybe someday it'll get back on the drawing board. However, until then, there's still plenty of awesome things to appreciate about Germany. They very much went for almost a storybook ambiance, which makes sense considering that Grimm's fairy tales originated in Germany. Ducking into the shops, you may find yourself confronted with a bunch of cuckoo clocks, again, another famous Germany specialty, or perhaps a beer stein, or something about Santa Claus, both very popular in Germany. At the very least, I think it's the only place I've ever seen that you can buy a bag shaped like a Mickey Mouse pretzel. Another German specialty is toy trains. To honor that, they've created a whole village here that has a train track running through it. This little town actually changes throughout the seasons, so if you come back during Christmas time, you're going to get to see all the lights and cold weather goodness. And as I mentioned, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs are by far one of the most popular tales to come out of Germany, so it only makes sense that they'd be represented here in their beautiful topiary. This first one just shows 6 of the dwarfs, but don't you worry, just a couple steps to the left and you'll find Snow White herself with the 7th dwarf, Dopey.
Okay, so this technically isn't a country like the rest of them, but this is an African outpost that still gives us a little taste of new culture.
This is another area that at one point was meant to someday become an actual African pavilion. A lot of those plans got added into Animal Kingdom, where you'll see an amazing representation of Africa, but they still have this here, and who knows, maybe someday they'll add a little bit more to it. But until then, it adds a really cool flair and a little bit of color as you're making your way through the countries. The wood carving here is definitely worth stopping at. You can watch them making it throughout the day and then actually buy the things that they've carved. Pretty unique souvenir if you ask me.
Some of the most endangered but most adorable animals on the planet, pandas. And you know what that means? We're in China.
China is simply stunning. The only complaint I personally have about it is that they don't have a Mulan topiary. I feel like she and Mushu would be awesome representations here. But that's okay. The architecture is still great to look at and is a really cool place to spend a few minutes. Something you may have heard about is the Chinese zodiac. They have different animals that represent the different years people could be born. Here's some cool representations of them. We have the dragon, the pig, the tiger, which I really love the tiger. He looks very cool there. We have the ox. And on this side we finish up with the monkey. But that's only half of them. On the other side we have the rooster, the dog with his fluffy ears there, the rat. You might want to go work over at Remy's restaurant, huh? The horse comes next. And then the snake, ready to strike. And finishing us up, we have the sheep. And then, the year that it currently is, the rabbit. We are in the year of the rabbit. And hopefully, that's a great year for all of us.
We're nearing the end of our World Showcase journey, but we've saved some of the best ones for last. We now find ourselves in Norway, a proud country with a long history and tons of tradition. This is famously the land of Thor and Loki, along with the other Norse gods, and lately has come back to popular culture as it was the inspiration for a fictional country called Arendelle.
Believe it or not, Norway is actually the newest pavilion here at the World Showcase. Most of them opened in 1982, Morocco opened 2 years later in 1984, and then Norway opened in 1988. This little corner of the World Showcase certainly has a charm of its very own. It's like you stumbled into a little fishing village. Some people claim that they've even seen trolls here in the Norway section. Doesn't look like there's too many of those around right now, but it's safe to say their history lives on. We'll show you that in just a minute. One of the very unique things about this pavilion is that it's one of the few that actually gives you a church you can go into.
We're now inside a recreation of a Norse church. Inside here you can learn all about the old Norse religion and the Norse mythology that goes along with it, such as my friend Thor right here.
This is a really cool exhibit that you can learn a lot from. Whether you're somebody who's only ever heard of Thor and Loki from Marvel movies, or somebody who's well versed in Norse mythology, this is still a real treat to check out. This statue at the middle alone is worth taking a few minutes to look at. It was hand carved and has all 4 of them on different sides. Pretty awesome. Definitely took a long time to make this, I'm sure.
And now we move over from Norway to the Kingdom of Arendelle.
Ah, see? This is where we have some of that troll history like I told you about. There's a big troll topiary here. But we've got to hurry. We have an appointment with royalty.
Hello!
Hi!
How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I am fantastic.
You look very dapper today.
Well, so do you. I have to look good if I'm meeting someone like you, right?
Thanks. I don't know what to do. I'm awkward.
So, we're going around the kingdoms and collecting advice for people who want to go on adventures. What is your adventuring advice you'd like to share? I know you've had a few, so whatever you'd like to share.
No matter where you're going, no matter if it's in the mountains or through the forest or anything, I say pick the right boots to wear.
Oh, very important.
I'm not wearing my boots today. They don't go good with this dress, but my boots have an A on the back of them, and the A stands for Anna and Arendelle and awkward.
So the 3A, so AAA boots.
Exactly.
I like it.
My sister doesn't have an A on the back of her boots, obviously, but she does have a bit of frozen fractals in there because you never know if you're going to need them. Unless the cold bothers you, then never mind, don't listen to that. Well, did you want me to sign this?
Yes, that would be amazing. Let's see. Here's an open page for you there.
Thank you. I guess we say less than open page.
You know what? Hold on. Let me move this. For some reason, Belle went crazy and missed a page, so let's fill in the blank there.
Perfect. That's fine with me. And what are we going to be doing after this with our travels?
After this, I think we're going to go see Elsa.
Well,
but
of
who knows? I think we're going to go, we're celebrating the Disney 100. So we've been doing the entire World Showcase, and we had to stop by Arendelle, you know? So here we are.
Well, I guess in this kingdom we just say so.
Okay, what was that? What was it? It's woohoo, like that?
Well, when it's a celebration,
Oh,
if
right.
you're trying to say hello to everybody, you go.
So it's a little more low key if it's hello, and
But if it's a celebration, you up it up.
so it's woohoo and then woohoo.
Exactly.
I like it.
You must shake the hands whenever you do it.
How are you?
No frostbite. I'm wonderful. What about you two?
We are doing fantastic. As I was telling your sister, we are actually out here kind of collecting advice throughout the kingdoms for adventures. Did you have anything you wanted to share with all of us?
Well, I think on any adventure, it's always fun to go into the unknown a little bit. Never quite know who you'll meet. Always make sure to bring your best friends along. I always bring my sister.
Aw.
We're better together.
I agree. Well, do you think I could get your autograph in here?
Love to.
Fantastic. So let's see.
License too.
I insist.
As long as the cold doesn't bother you.
Never.
Bother you? Thanks for pretty good eye service here. Christoph always says ice is his life.
Yeah, it seems a little boring though. Your ice is exciting. His ice is just kind of like, oh, I guess my drink's a little cooler now.
I don't know, they seem to be having a very good time with their ice business recently. Maybe just
Hey, nothing wrong with that, right?
And where else could our World Showcase Pavilion journey end but here at the United States of America? The architecture is reminiscent of kind of that colonial feel that really shows our history off, and inside is an incredible presentation. This show is appropriately titled The American Adventure, and is 30 minutes of what makes America, America. You're treated to looking at some awesome flags throughout American history as you make your way into the theater, and once inside, you can admire these awesome statues of people who have really exemplified what it means to have the American spirit.
4 centuries of work, bloodshed, loneliness, and fear created this land. We built America, and the process made us Americans. A new breed, rooted in all races, stained and tinted with all colors. A seeming ethnic anarchy. Then, in a little time, we became more alike than we were different. A new society. Not great, but fitted by our very faults for greatness. Excuse me, Mr. Twain.
What's that?
Perhaps you recognize those inspiring words from one of America's great writers.
No, Dr. Franklin, I don't recall writing anything like that.
Oh my, of course not. They're from the pen of John Steinbeck, back in the 20th century. Why, it seems he has nearly the same spirit as the founding fathers themselves.
Well, listen to the proud elder statesman.
Mr. Twain, pride is one of our national passions. Even those who overcome it are proud of their humility.
Easy now. I was born modest. Fortunately, it wore off. Dr. Franklin is our genuine American antique. I suppose our story begins with you.
Actually, it started long before even my time. It started when dreams and visions of a new world were shrouded in the myths and legends of an old world.
Of course, going through every time period and really getting across what America is a pretty tough task to accomplish in only 30 minutes. But this show sure does a great job of it. You go from the very roots of America all the way up to pretty much present day. They hit great spots along the way and really have some awesome animatronics.
Justice! We ask equality be guaranteed to us and our daughters forever!
Well, here we are, back in the heat of Franklin's Philadelphia again. We're 100 years old today. We came a long way in that first century. But like Susan B. Anthony, we're still speaking out.
And why shouldn't we, Mr. Twain?
As Tom Edison says, discontent is the first necessity of progress.
Anybody who considers themselves a fan of history, America, or awesome robots will really enjoy this show. They put a lot of work into it. There's a lot of moving sets, different time periods that come up, lots of little tidbits and Easter eggs to connect the dots, and honestly, it's one of the coolest attractions at any park.
Well, Mr. Twain, what do you think of our America now?
I think the founding fathers never dreamed of an America like this.
Of course not. We weren't dreamers. We were visionaries. That is why our Constitution withstands the rigors of time.
Easy now, Dr. Franklin. This nation's still just a youngster, don't you know? Why, some countries have been around for 50 centuries. We're barely into our third.
That's true, but look what we've accomplished in that tiny span of time.
My dear doctor, earlier you found John Steinbeck so inspiring. And he also sounded this warning. We now face the danger which in the past has been the most destructive to the human. Success, plenty, comfort, and ever-increasing leisure. No dynamic people has ever survived these dangers.
I may have invented these bifocals I'm wearing, but I can assure you they are not rose-colored. Mr. Twain, the golden age never was the present age, but with human liberty, we can fulfill the promise and meaning of America. To everyone a chance, believed Thomas Wolfe. To all people, regardless of their birth, the right to live, to work, to be themselves, and to become whatever their visions can combine to make them. This is the promise of America. Mr. Twain, 'tis easy to see, hard to foresee, but I foresee the American adventure to continue a long, long time.
You gotta make sure you see the American Princess Tiana, and then hurry up, you know we gotta end every Disney day with fireworks.
And with that, just like the geodesic sphere that is the symbol of this park, we too have come full circle. We've seen all of Future World, all of World Showcase, and all that's left is to say goodnight. My name is David, and this has been Abnormal Voyages. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to us, and comment where you'd like to see us go next. All of it really helps us out. And if you're interested in following along with more bonus adventures and getting a postcard in the mail every single month from somewhere we go, we're also going to have our Patreon link right below this video. Thanks for tagging along. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching Abnormal Voyages. Thanks for watching.